Okay, so you've been on the gospel music scene for some years now. What would you say is different about this season in your music career?
The biggest difference is I'm not independent any longer. Signing with Verity really, I think, has given me an advantage in a lot of ways. I think I probably went as far as I could go as an independent. Well, let me say it like this: as far as I was willing to go as an independent, that wouldn't take away, my time as a pastor and as a father. To make sure I'm taking care of my responsibilities. So signing with the label, alleviated some of the stressors that go along with being an independent, and gave me the freedom to kind of do what I need to do, kind of focus on the music and the artistry versus some of the behind the scenes stuff as well.
Wonderful. So the title track of your project, Shift in the Atmosphere, it's definitely received great reviews, has created great momentum for your project.
It has.
In thinking about recording that song, what did you want the reach to be for that song?
Honestly, I wasn't thinking about reach when I wrote that song. It was really about hearing what God was saying and trying to articulate that as closely as possible.
Yes.
And that was one of the most interesting songs I've ever written, because I didn't have melody until I heard my producer playing a piano part. All I had was lyrics, and that was weird for me because I always get at least some lyric and some melody together.
Wow.
But when he started playing, I said, "What is that you're playing?" And he said, "I don't know, it's just something the Lord gave me."
Wow.
And instantly something clicked in me, like, oh, those lyrics are going to work perfectly with that song.
Okay.
And when we, laid down the initial version of it, it was like, wow, this is going to be something special. Even though we still had no idea what it was going to be at that point or how big it was going to be. Now it's top 5 in the country, number 4 in the country. And, just hanging in there, it's been amazing.
Yes.
It's been amazing. So, I'm really grateful.
Great. So tell us what you would say is unique about your music ministry and your sound.
Because there ain't nobody else like me. No, I don't know.
No, absolutely.
I honestly don't know.
Okay.
But I think what's unique about me is, I try to pour my heart into the music and not to cast dispersions on anyone else. But I really feel like I put as much as I can of me into the music, and I try to exhibit all of the things I've learned as an artist, as a vocalist, as a songwriter. I try my best to put all of that on display.
Yes.
When I'm sharing with the audience and when they're hearing the music, I really feel like they're hearing a piece of who I am. And if that makes me different, great. If it doesn't, well, I'm glad to be a part of the club.
Absolutely. And I think people want authenticity, and they want exactly what you're talking about when it comes to gospel music. Yes, definitely.
Above all, especially, I think, when it comes to gospel music. I mean, because you have your hip hop, your those rappers. They rap about stuff they've never been through. They just know how to make it sound good. But I think if a gospel artist is disingenuous, then nobody will believe their music. Period.
Exactly.
So yeah, I agree. There has to be some level of authenticity to what we do.
Definitely. So I would say that there are a number of great songs on your project. And
well, I would agree with you.
Yes. So, I mean, some of the standouts for me, No Dominion.
Right.
Jubilee.
Yeah.
A lot of buzz about No Dominion.
Yes, a lot of buzz.
And Don't Count Me Out. Definitely a
One of my
personal
favorites.
favorite. So, I mean, what do you think about the fact that these songs are gaining popularity amongst listeners? Are you surprised, or what are your thoughts on that?
I'm definitely a little bit surprised. I didn't realize that. I knew when we were putting the record together, and even as we were sequencing the record with Dana and I, we knew we had good music, and we intentionally made sure we didn't have what are known as filler songs on the record.
Yeah.
I didn't want people to put the record in and then at some point say, fast forward. I think you do a disservice to people to make them listen to something that you don't even believe in yourself.
Absolutely.
But for people to have gravitated to some of the music like they have is really amazing to me. I think, Dominion probably has the most buzz outside of Shifting.
Yes.
And then there's a song called No Words, which I probably get, emails and tweets about that every single day. I mean, the Dominion ones, it's like that's common.
Yeah.
But I'm getting the no words.
Okay.
Emails, the tweets, the Facebook statuses, and things
Yeah.
like that. It's been overwhelming, to be quite honest.
That's beautiful. So we know that your twin brother is Jonathan Nelson. And could you just talk a little bit about what your impact is on one another musically, and who do you draw from for inspiration musically?
You mean
Besides him.
other than him?
Other than him. But if you can put those two together.
Well, we definitely feed off each other. I think from a songwriter's perspective, he really has his finger on the sound of the nation. He knows how to write songs and pen songs that churches just want to sing.
Yeah.
I think it's an uncanny gift that he has. And I think vocally, he pulls on me from a vocal perspective.
Okay.
And I think that's where the trade-off kind of happens.
Yeah.
So, I look at, some of his lyrical content and, placement. I'm like, what made you think about that? And sometimes I'm like, man, I never would have put that kind of melody with those kind of lyrics.
Yeah.
But he's just gifted like that. And we've written some songs together. I think one of the most notable songs we did was Could Have Been Another Way.
Okay.
On his last project.
Yes.
Which was, that was fun.
Yeah.
That was a lot of fun. He kind of hit a brick wall. It was like, all right, I need your help. Here, finish writing this. And that's kind of how the song ended up coming into play. Influence-wise, I would say, vocally, Fred Hammond,
Yes.
Kim Burrell, mixing a little bit of Donnie McClurkin. Eric Dawkins really helped to hone me as a vocalist, and I think people hear more overtones of Eric than they do of Fred.
Okay.
They just don't know it.
Yeah.
But you listen to those Dawkins and Dawkins records.
Legends.
There's certain
I
points
regard them as legends.
Oh yeah, there's certain points where Eric and I sound like vocal twins.
Yes.
It's amazing. Donny Hathaway was a big influence on me vocally, and then the musician in me also gave me ideas from a vocal perspective. So people like Marcus Miller as a bass player, Fred as a bass player,
Yes.
Jaco Pastorius, and my favorite bass player of all times is John Patitucci.
Okay.
And I actually sang early on a lot of his melodic lines. He knew how to put stuff from an interpretation perspective in the right places.
Yes.
And that really helped to shape my idea as it relates to singing, placement, and as a bass player.
Wonderful. Lastly, I just want to ask you, going forward, what do you envision your legacy, your impact being as a pastor and with your music career?
As a pastor, that I don't let God down. I think if I don't let him down, the people will be taken care of.
Yes.
And in not letting him down, it's really about following my assignment as pastor, feeding the people, growing the people, leading them in the proper direction, not the way I want to be, not the way I want to go, but the way he sees fit for those people that I lead.
Yes.
So I think that would be, what I would deem as, I guess, success from a pastor's perspective, or legacy from the pastor's perspective. Musically, I'm not real big on legacy musically, because I think I think we have to write good music, sing well, and leave an imprint on people. I think that's the legacy. Is that people remember there was a song I heard that touched me, or even more so, there was a song I heard that changed me.
Yes.
I think that's the greatest legacy of any singer, songwriter, artist, whoever you are, whatever you do. I think if nobody's impacted by what you do, then you fail.
Absolutely.
But if you write a song and 15 years from now people are still singing it, I think then you've done something that is impactful. We still sing Going Up Yonder.
Yes.
40 years later, 20, 30 years later, something like, whatever it is. There's some songs that kind of just stick.
Yeah.
And I hope that my music does that as well. Since we're on legacy, let me also say this. The greatest legacy for me outside of pleasing God is that my family, my kids especially, can say not Daddy was a great singer or Daddy was a great songwriter, but Daddy treated us well, and he left us something to live up to.
That's so important.
I think ultimately that's really what my intent is.
Yeah.
All the other stuff, it can go by the wayside. It's neither here nor there. Solomon says, "Vanity, vanity, all is vanity." So ultimately, it's not about the cars that you drive and the house that you live in. But I really want my kids to say, "Daddy was a great man," not because I was a singer, but because I was good to them.
That's wonderful. Thank you so much for taking time to talk with us
Thank
today.
you. I appreciate it.
All right.